Hello and welcome. And thank you for joining us, Sushi Tokyo 2026 today. Now we will begin the session on the power of diversity in action. I'll introduce you our speakers. Global Perspectives KK, Tove Kinooka. Coloplast KK, Eishiro Koushi. AB Mola Mask, Kyra Paul. Coloplast KK, Yuki Okubo. Reflow Inc., Venture Cafe Tokyo, Nagamori. Okay, so everyone, please welcome our speakers.
Hi everyone, welcome to Metal Stage. And I am Nagamori from Venture Cafe Tokyo, and I'm the organizer for today's stage about diversity, equity, and leadership. So, I'd like to ask you to help guide us to make conversations about diversity, equity, and leadership into action. So, here's Tove Kinooka, the facilitator for today's session.
All right, thank you very much, Rui-san, and for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you to all of you for joining. So I'm Tove Kinooka. I'm co-founder and director of Global Perspectives. So we are a small company that does impact-focused organizational change, but we work with very big companies. So ourselves, we're a startup. Working with large organizations, and that's kind of why we're here today talking around about diversity. So we started a program a few months ago. It's built on a long series of diversity and inclusion events, but we wanted to do something that was much more action focused. So if we could move to the next slide, we created this Accelerate Action for Diversity program in collaboration with Maersk, who are the initiators for this. And we thought, how can we bring together companies from very different backgrounds and different participants from them? So as you can see here, the participants in this pilot program are 50-50 male and female. We've got a range of sort of working experience from first year of working through to almost ready for retirement. So a lot of differences there. We've got different nationalities involved as well. And what we want to do is work on the hard bit of diversity, right? Everyone talks about, oh yeah, we need more diversity in our business. What can we do about that? You know, let's make policies. Policies are great, they're a good start, but that's the easy bit. The hard bit is actually making it happen and making sure the workplace is not just diverse, but is inclusive as well, so that those diversities, when we bring them into our organizations, can actually be heard, valued, and contributing to the business. And startup-wise, Rui, what are we seeing in the startup scene around diversity?
In the startup scene, there's a same problem continuing on, that we have less female founders and we have less female investors as well. Well, that is kind of going to, better, but not perfect yet, and we have a lot to do.
Absolutely. So it's not just big companies like the ones we've got here today, so Lixil, Coloplast, Tetra Pak, and also Yokohama Connect, who are all part of this program. But we also need to be thinking as startups, when we actually start our own company, why should we think about building a diverse team from the beginning? What are the benefits of that? And actually, if we're bringing diverse people into our team, hopefully we're making better products, better services. We're better able to adapt to new markets and scale our ideas as well. So it's not just the big companies that need to be thinking about this. So that's why we're here today. And thank you, Rui, for the opportunity. So I'd like to introduce some of the participants from this year's program who are going to work with us today. So, dozo. Eishiro-san.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Eishiro Koushi. I am the part of the DEI program that Tove just mentioned. Working with the people from other company, discussing about what is the leadership definition, and of course, DEI is really hard because definition of it really depends on where you are, who you are, and discussion can tend to just really diverse. I work for a company called Coloplast. Coloplast is based on Denmark. You may not know about the company, but the biggest medical device manufacturer in Denmark. If there's anyone who wears the Band-Aid, anyone wears Band-Aid today? Hope not. We're the biggest, we're the manufacturer of that. So nice to meet you. And I'm looking forward to engaging, a group session with you guys. You have it.
Thanks. Yuki-san.
And next, hello everyone. I'm Yuki Okubo, and I also worked at Corpus CK, so Corpus KK. So I'm a co-worker, so for you. I'm less familiar with talking in English, so I just quickly introduce myself. I'm a sales trainer for the sales department at the Corpus KK. But I keep in touch with any colleagues. So almost are Japanese, but so the Asia wide range of the 50s or 20s or. So it's like a diverse situation. So it's very happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to this session. Thank you. So please come on.
Thank you, Yuki-san. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Kyra. I am born South African. I'm Dutch by nationality, and I've been living in Japan for the last 2.5 years. As you can see on the slide, I work for Maersk. We are, as maybe most of you know, a Danish shipping company, although we have a very large logistics department. So actually that's where I'm placed. I'm heading up the business development side for Asia for one of our largest logistics services. This program actually is really, really important to Maersk. We have a very strong culture and inclusion committee, not only within Japan and Korea, but also globally. And this program is really for us to not only discuss these types of topics, but really to bring action and to create, not go beyond awareness, let's say. So thank you so much, and looking forward to the session. Thank you, Tove.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Are you going to stay with us, or are you going to go?
So I leave it to you.
All right. Thank you, Rory, for the intro. She'll be hanging around, so if you want to talk to her afterwards, please do. So, can we have next slide, please? Thank you. So what are we going to do in this session today? As we've heard, just Kyra was saying there, it's not just about talking, right? We need to find actions, a way forward on diversity. So what we want to be doing today is having that discussion with all of you, because sitting in the audience here, already we've got diversity, different backgrounds, different ideas, different experiences, and that's a really, really powerful resource. So what we want to do is do a mini hackathon together, very mini hackathon together with you guys. So first we're going to look at actually defining, when we say diversity, actually what are we talking about, okay? Make sure we've got a shared understanding of that. And then we're going to introduce one challenger question that we're going to work on together right now live. We're going to break into groups then, and we're going to ask you guys to discuss together around what are the challenges and what action we can take. And then we're going to bring all of that together to look at, well, what did we learn from this conversation? And what can all of you and us take back to our organizations and think, that's something I didn't think about before. I'm going to try that. Okay? So that's the plan. Are we good with that? Daijoubu? Okay, great. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. So before we start looking at diversity, we need to get a sense of what does it mean to you, all right? So please go ahead and scan that QR code, and it'll take you to a Mentimeter input page, and you can put in up to 3 words, keywords, phrases, not great big long paragraphs or sentences, keep it short. But what are the things that pop into your head when we say diversity and inclusion in a business context, all right?
If you can't access, I bring the
Yeah,
QR
we've
code.
also got a QR if you need it closer. All right. So we'll give you a moment to put your words in. Thanks, Yuki. And then everybody's ideas are going to start coming up in a word cloud, and we'll have a look at what's coming up. And you don't have to be sitting down to take part. If anyone standing around wants to join in, please join in as well. The more ideas, the better. Okay. All right, so we can see some of the things starting to come in here.
We see difficult. Difficult, yeah.
No one being left. I like that one.
Yeah, no one being left. Yeah.
Openness, also a really good one, right? Open to the ideas, actions.
Psychological safety, I think, is really important as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good to see innovation come up as well, right? Because, I mean, that is one of the huge benefits of diversity. If we can include lots of different voices, it helps us innovate more.
Psychological safety?
So we're getting psychological safety
That's
the
a
top.
big one, right?
It's a big word.
Yeah.
Feeling seen as well. Overdue. Yes.
But the expressions are so diverse. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very good.
So understanding is one that's obviously coming up a bit more, which is why it's bigger there. We've got structures as well. Empathy. Culture sensitive, it's good to see that one come up. Again, that's something that we need to be considering. And culture, of course, is more than just your nationality. Culture is the lived experience, many different things. Your background, your education, all of these things are part of your culture.
We also see innovation on the third. It's really interesting.
That's getting bigger, isn't it?
It's important to maybe like include maybe team to just know, come up with an innovative idea or something.
Yeah.
I like this one at the bottom here, beyond marketing. So it's really about what are we saying versus what are we doing, right? I really like that one.
Yeah.
Really good. I think we have
right.
already 17.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And keep it coming in. So what we will do, if you want to keep these ideas coming in, then we'll capture all of this at the end, and then we'll be doing a LinkedIn post about this afterwards. So if you look for it, you'll be able to find this image and maybe take that back into your own company to spark some conversations as well. Business growth, it's good to see that one come up as well. That's what we're here to talk about. Whether you're a startup, a solopreneur, or a massive multinational organization, this is important, and we need to be going beyond the conversations into action. So, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Onegaishimasu. Okay, so, Mil, could we go back one slide? And one more. Yep, there we go. Thank you. So just a reminder, we're going to go through this process. So now we're moving into this second step to the explore. I'm just going to check, have we got roughly equal numbers? It looks kind of equal-ish. I'm not very good with numbers, but
1, 2, 3.
what do you reckon?
30.
Yeah, looks good.
30
Yeah,
people.
okay,
or?
let's go with that. All right. So, sorry, if we can go back to that side as well now. Okay, so if we say this half of the room is going to be group 1, okay, this half of the room is going to be group 2. So what we'd like to do, looking at all those ideas that were coming up around diversity there just now, and also looking at your own experience, your own sort of environment that you're living and working in, what are the barriers to diversity? Why is it so hard? Okay, we're seeing, particularly if we look at gender diversity, Japan is currently 118 in the global gender equity ranking, which is choto embarrassing, and something we're trying to work on. So, you know, what's going on here? What are the barriers that you see or you've experienced personally? And what are the cultural nuances that we should be considering? Okay, what are the sort of really particular culture issues when it comes to talking about diversity or implementing diversity? So that's group 1, that's your question. group 2, let's think about actions, all right? What can we do, particularly thinking about leadership? How can we improve diversity at a leadership level? Because that's where the decisions are made, and that really influences the culture of an organization, all right? So let's think about, what have you tried? What have you seen other companies doing? What have you heard or read about? Okay, what are actions we can take? And it could be everything from a very small step, something you can do as an individual, to things you can do as a team, things you can do as a whole organization or as a community, like a startup ecosystem, whatever it is. Okay, so are we ready? Yeah, cool. So it's quite big, each group. You might want to split into smaller groups to start with, mix it up. You can discuss in whatever language you like. So let's take, say, 10 minutes, toriaizu, to begin with, to do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
10, 15 minutes?
And we'll come and walk around as well and sort of listen into your conversations. So,
Group 1, right?
group 1, group 2.
We will walk
Group one,
around
group
the. So yeah.
Guys, if you want to take some of these, then we can use these to capture. Yes. Yes.
For this group,
Yeah.
the only Japanese
The post-tree.
All right. She's only.
So like a kind of what color do you like? All right. It's a really good. Here you are.
Thank you.
The post-it.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Or I can,
Or
maybe you pass it to them.
okay. Thank you.
Please feel free. Thank you for participating and joining us. So we for this one, it's really about looking at the actions that we can take to quickly diversify. The language that is most common amongst everyone, okay? Thank you so much. All right. Two or three different smaller groups and
That's great.
one group.
I might suggest that these guys break up a bit. Could I just, sorry, interrupt. Could I just make a suggestion? It's kind of, if we're doing this, one big group for 10 minutes, like the talk time for each person is going to be about 10 seconds. So why don't you split off into maybe 2 or 3 smaller groups? Yeah? Just to get a bit more discussion time going. Thank you.
10 minutes. Should I just keep
So if we do sort of 10 to 12. So if we aim to, so we've got, I think, let's go to half past. Okay, and then we'll harvest the bits. And then that'll be maybe 10 minutes harvesting ideas, and that'll give us 5 minutes wrap up, and then awesome. Okay. So we're looking discussion through till half past, sort of harvesting ideas, 10 minutes, and then 5 minutes wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How we, so let's, maybe I can translate. Yeah.
It's actually being seen quite positively, I would say. Like a lot of them are saying, thank you, like this is a nice idea to do something rather than just listening.
Hankoku desu ne. He's from Korea. Okay, awesome. Okay. So which part of Korea?
That's also why the organizers are like completely
Okay, this
like I
is
can
from
see them
Tokyo.
all, all the
also
chairs
there's
now they're all like, oh my word, what's
the
gonna
Korea,
be?"
no, where in Korea you're from?
It's showing one of these groups over there.
Southern part. Okay. Busan, Busan, yeah, Busan is closer to maybe Kyushu. Maybe. Yeah. Jeju, yeah, great island. Right? Yeah. Awesome. So in group one, like, it's great because we have like multiple nationalities, Australia, Korea, Japan. So we can have a discussion about what will be the barrier at the workplace, and and what cultural nuances like no we have
do
to
with the ideas?
consider,
Just put them on the chair.
in diverse environment. Each of us might have a different perspective. バリアとなんか職場においてのダイバーシティとかみたいなものが、どういった問題があるのか、何がなんかハードルになるのかとか、それに対する考慮しないといけない点ちょっと話してみようかな。
For generating
Hi.
some more ideas for us.
Okay.
That's really nice.
All right. So maybe like
So just put them on a chair.
first thing first?
Anywhere that's
anything
easier.
that
We
pop
can
up
read
in
them
your
out
mind,
after.
let me know.
We'll try and connect
Yep.
all the dots. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
many
you.
things. I can write it down. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
10分ぐらいをやろうとしてて、多分
10 minutes.
Bias.
Waiting for him because I saw him so
You're not, you're not aware of that. You don't notice.
found this thing. He's coming back in 10 minutes. Like it's gonna be over.
ワークショップスタイルがあとなんで 10分やってくださいって言って始めたから、いや、12だな。
やっぱりバリアが
ありがとうございます。
ランゲージとか、
そう半ぐらいまでやっ
言語、
踊って発表して、
言葉とか、そういったところがやっぱりバリアになっている。その中でも、彼が言ったのはバイアス、固定観念がやっぱりあることが、このダイバースな職場を阻害しているんですよ。バイアスだと思う。
Already started this.
So, lack of time to just study for it.
They're worried about our timing.
Ah.
We're going to finish on time. They keep coming up like, are you sure you're going to finish on time?
right, folks. Hi. I'm there. Okay. All right. Okay, everybody. If you could start wrapping up your discussion, and then we would like to hear some of the ideas that your group has come up with.
Should we just like stand there, just give a mic?
Yeah, it looks like the mics only work when we're on the stage, so it's a bit difficult to get the audience voices from there, but we'll have to hop up and down and harvest. Okay.
Okay.
So, let's start with group one with the barriers. Okay. So, who's got Eishiro, you've got the notes there. I think your mic doesn't work unless you come up here, right? Oh, it does?
It's okay.
Yokatta.
working.
Good.
That's
Phew.
okay.
All right. So let's hear from some of these groups here. What were some of the barriers that you discussed or that you've experienced, and what are the cultural nuances that we need to be thinking about?
All right. I think, can you share what we discussed?
Of course.
Sorry
Thank
to
you
put you
very
on the
much.
spot, but please go ahead.
Yeah, referring the most to being biased. Everyone is biased without knowing it, and everyone thinks he actually understands his partner, his coworker, etc. But actually, you won't understand. So there's always this small part which makes you not fully understand the feelings of your coworker, partner, etc.
Absolutely.
And you have to accept that. So accepting that you won't understand is maybe the
Yes.
the critical part.
That's a really key word, I think.
Yeah.
So recognizing that we all have biases, even though we might have the best intentions and want to understand somebody's situation, I will never know what it is like to be a Japanese middle-aged manager at a company. It's not my lived reality, right? So I can try and understand, but I'm never really going to get it unless I make that extra effort, right? And recognize
Exactly.
bias.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we talked about a number of issues really. I mean, one issue we felt was that there's still a lot of distance between countries. Japan, for example, has an island culture, and therefore there's some sort of build-up prejudice. Obviously, education is important. The way people are educated is a very a big influence on how they see the world. And it was also mentioned by one of the Japanese participants that he felt there was a generation gap.
Yeah.
So, and obviously in Japan, the majority of CEOs are going to be 50 and over. So, we're kind of waiting for the next generation that are maybe, no offense, but just, they may be, we're seeing more diversity in the 20-year-olds, and maybe that's going to come to fruition in the future. We also talked about the fact that in some countries there are more clear role models. For example, growing up in the UK, we had a female prime minister 40 years ago. We had a queen. Lots of female CEOs in the 80s and things like that, whereas maybe that's not so existing in Japan, although once again changing, so discussions changing around that. We also talked about the fact that at the moment there seems to be a lack of desire in Japan for quotas.
Quotas are a tricky one.
It's
So
a
we
tricky
might
one.
come to that on the action side in a minute, but yes.
That's pretty much it, I think. Also, attitudes about maternity and maternity leave on the gender side, of course, are problematic at times.
One quick clarification. So on the quotas, are you meaning sort of like enforcement of X amount of people in these types of positions?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
just so that
exactly.
we are all okay.
We're aware that it's controversial, but sometimes just to
Enforcement.
get things moving,
Yeah.
enforcement can be powerful. I think it's very much in Scandinavia, in Finland and places like that, they have quotas, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
enforcement rather than sort of volunteership that I think is one way or the other, right?
It's a tricky line, right,
Yeah.
to walk between. Okay, so we're hearing about sort of biases, maybe not recognizing biases, or understanding, sort of how that impacts our perception of somebody or their situation. We're also hearing about maybe the societal environment that we're living in. So it's one thing for companies to be able to set goals and to set a really great policy around paternity leave, maternity leave, or whatever. But if the culture that the people are living in doesn't support those policies, it makes it very hard, even when people are trying to change at an individual level. So those are some serious challenges we need to look at. Right, let's move over then to what kind of actions are we hearing about? And thank you to Group 1 for that. So,
Good guy.
Hi, everyone. So in Group 2 over here, we discussed 4 main ideas. The first potential action is creating more opportunities for leadership to learn about DEI or diversity best practices and the potential positive impact it can have on the business. Because we discussed how there are leadership team members who see DEI as like a nice to have. So creating more opportunities for them to better understand and increase their awareness is the first action. And she mentioned about publishing more articles as well about DEI and with concrete examples, especially for Japanese leadership who love to see other companies.
we need to see the case studies,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yes, very
Japanese
much.
case studies.
Yes,
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And then the second action is about setting up time to really discuss in depth and agree on actions to reduce burnout and issues with the retention of employees, especially those who are leaving the company due to feeling excluded. That's the second one. And then the third one is encouraging leadership to listen with more empathy, and radical listening is what she mentioned.
Nice.
And then the last one is about providing more leadership opportunities and not limiting leadership to just very senior people in the company, and having people who are very engaged and motivated to have more opportunities to represent their perspective and share that within the organization.
Yep, brilliant. I like
That's it from us.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good.
you. The last one there was really about being able to identify future potential talent, right? And bringing up these future leaders who could be the next level of leadership excellence to take the organization forward. I think, especially here in Japan and also in our organization, it's how do we find the right talents that have the ambition to become leaders and really foster them, bring them up, train them, make sure that there are sustainable training programs so that we can bring more diversity into leadership.
Yeah.
I think really a lot of conversations we've had around that topic as well, so thank you for bringing it up. Thank you.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you. Let's hear from some of the other
Yes.
groups. So, yep.
Please go ahead. Oh, here's a mic.
Ah, okay, we got a mic there. Oh, we'll come back to you in a moment. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's okay. Go ahead.
We'll be quick because actually in the end we just went very deep into our conversation and start because we are in a very diverse group. We have Japanese and Korean, and I'm of like Taiwanese root and all that stuff. So we just start chatting as well. So our points will be very little. So, but mainly 2 points. So one is that we realized that first of all, in order to understand the culture, like 'cause it's important to know. The action is to know it, but actually to do that before there's a language barrier. So we have to first cope on the language barrier. So that's really the first thing that we think we should make sure to solve.
Yeah.
And then, but then the next one is that we also kind of share, each the situation in our countries, and then we realized that actually simply having exposure to different cultures, like knowing that, I mean, you don't have to absorb it or anything like that, but simply just being exposed can already increase diversity in leadership, in the company, in the organization as well. So it's these 2 points that we have. And sorry, we just deeply discussed about these, so we only have 2 points.
That's absolutely fine. That's what we're here for.
As long as you made connections between you,
Yes.
built up a network, that's also really important.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
And maybe just on that exposure point, I think one thing that we're seeing some of the companies we work work with do that's been really helpful on that is giving people early on in their careers a chance to kind of maybe go and do a role overseas, to experience actually living in the other country, but also experience being the minority where you don't necessarily speak the language well and you don't know how things work and all the unwritten rules and things like this. I think it's very hard to kind of imagine what that feels like unless you've directly experienced it. So even just a few months, if people are sort of given the opportunity to maybe go and work in a different branch or work with a supplier or a partner or something like that, to really understand what is that market like, what are their challenges, and what does it feel like to be the one who doesn't understand everything that's been said or that doesn't kind of get the local culture.
Thank you for bringing that up. We actually was deeply discussing about that in our group as well. Like, oh, it would be nice to do that, exchange programs.
Right,
It was
yeah.
helpful, yeah, so thank you.
Great, okay, thank you. All right, and then the third group.
Last
here.
but not least.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, actually, so everybody said everything what we actually talked about as well. So now I have nothing to say. But then just, one point that maybe you didn't discuss yet is that we also talked about, importance of education.
Yes.
So even before we enter the company, that, for example, that's, just about me, but then I live in the Netherlands and I teach in a university, in a business school. And then constantly we talk about, people, we talked about diversity and inclusion, and then we get great discussions. So here that in the universities in Japan, for example, also, that say, just, talk about this, because going on an exchange is good, but then we have to talk about it. Reflection is everything. So I think then you're all going to have good people, everybody's good, but then, people who are more aware of diversity and inclusion start working in a company. Then that's also a very important, progress for the Japanese society, I feel. To have more diversified, more included society.
Very much, very much. So thank you for raising.
I had one thing to say still. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Nice discussion. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
I think, Tove, that last point also connects to what we're saying here around Group 1, where it is around the education.
Yes.
How were people brought up? Is that a difference between the West and the East? For example, in Europe or in the Netherlands, this is a topic that is openly discussed. When I was working there, I had that experience. It commonly comes up as a theme or a topic of conversation, and people don't shy away from it because perhaps there's more progress there, but nonetheless, it's still the openness of opinion. And perhaps in other cultures where here in Asia, maybe that's not something that was discussed growing up and during those initial educational years. So I think it very closely connected between those two.
Yep, I agree.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Let me echo that. Actually, education is something that we, Group 1, have discussed. We're all busy, right? Working and doing our task, but we need to just have time to just understand different culture, different modern religion and language and everything, and then maybe we can take an action. So I was watching YouTube yesterday, actually, about DEI, and there are my favorite saying: diversity is just being invited to the party. Inclusion is dancing in a party.
Right? Nice.
So we really need to just not knowing, just like understanding the diversity is not enough. We have to just take an action to embed it into that business. So.
Yeah, very much so, very much. And I think that education, and you hit a key point, right? It takes time. If you haven't had the opportunity to get exposure to diverse people and opinions, maybe in school or at university, then once you get into a company, you get super busy, right? And actually making time to educate things, I think that comes down to the company then making this a priority, to leaders making it a priority and saying, well, this is good for our business. This helps us make better products, make better services, understand our customers or our target markets more, if we can actually prioritize making time to understand each other, to dance at the party, not just invite people, right? And so I think we're beginning to see more of that here, but it's often still lowish on the priority list, so that when a crisis hits or when business conditions get tough, it's often one of the first things to get cut. It's like, oh, it's not so important, right? We'll prioritize other things. But actually, if you took away the people from your company, what do you have? Nothing, right? Your people are your absolute core asset and strength. We need to be investing in them, giving them time and space and opportunities to actually learn from each other, from professionals, and actually then embed that as well. So, Yuki-san, do you want to comment on anything that you've sort of heard when you were?
So we have to be prioritize the education, but so not only the education of the culture, but also for the history or how were developed by in the history. So in this case, so I should have the respect for any other people in my thought. So just a quick result.
That's such a great point. So one of the clients we work with is a big global medtech company. It's headquartered in Japan, but actually their operations are everywhere. And one of the things that we've really worked with the senior leadership team is getting them to really understand the 100+ years of history that this company has here in Japan and why they should respect that and what is important, what are the learnings that we can take forward from that into the future, and bring that together with their ideas from different countries and spaces. So we need all of those bits coming together, right? But that's a really important one. So if we come to this question, right, sort of what are we learning today? How can each of us, because this needs to be something every individual takes responsibility for, right? How can we accelerate action in our own communities, our own organizations? So maybe we've got a couple of minutes. Would anyone like to share something that they want to try out? Maybe somebody mentioned it in your discussion. You think, ooh, that's something I could do or try. So if you have anything to share, yeah, we got one here. Do you want to?
Thank you. So I think for me, maybe because I come from a world of comms and marketing, so by default, we have no shame or very little. But ask, just ask.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So there is, I think, we forget that the other person is exactly in the same situation as we are. They don't know, you know? So one thing I learned, like I'm originally from Croatia, I live and work in Belgium, but I work with like, a lot of startups and universities, etc. Is like one thing that also, so ask and come from the position of humbleness,
yes.
like rather than arrogance. Just because when you're humble, it's like, you know, people will perceive energy. It's what we do, but it's also how we feel and make them feel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess those would be like just 2 tips, or at least they seem to work for me, well, most of the time. Not always, not always. Thank you.
Be careful what you ask, but yeah, I love it. So be curious, I think, would be a great one. So, you know, why do you do it this way? Help me understand how you made that decision or something like that. Yes. Hi.
Thank you. Hi. So I'm from Sweden, and we are working really hard with this at university, and it's come to a point where you do affirmative actions secretly because it's forbidden. So we take in much more, like ladies in the math program, for example.
Yeah.
And it's all about numbers.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we're putting something on stage, the only thing we can be criticized for is the number of females versus men.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been in so many meetings when people are leaning forward and say, I'm counting 6 men and 2 women. And then they lean back and done one day's work. And it's kind of, you know, it's kind of a bit silly. At some point we had the strategy of not thinking about gender.
Yeah.
And not mention that at all. And it worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there were people saying this is too slow, it has to happen now. But if you want things to change, like the ratio of professors, that takes 50 years.
Yes.
And they didn't want it. So it's we are like breaking the law, and at the same time we also get. I wouldn't suggest my son, for example, to go into this branch.
We're about to get, sorry, I've just
Yeah,
showed the
okay.
time's up thingy, but I would love
But
to
thanks for
continue
letting me say
afterwards.
this, because it's
Yes.
yeah, it's a problem.
It really is. It's a problem, but the good news is there are ways forward. Hopefully we've had some ideas to talk about those today. Please take them away to your companies and come and talk to us afterwards. We can continue the conversation. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for playing with us.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody. We hope you enjoy the session. So